when you, the thing is, when you keep doing the same thing and you get comfortable in this uncomfortable in this comfortable place where you know how everything works, and you're just doing the same thing and you're going through the motions, you're not really happy, but you the longer you're in that place, the scarier it is to break out of it.
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
and it's about making small steps, but the more that you are used to breaking out of that, the more you take risks, the less risky it feels. And I think and I know for myself actually, that teaching for some people is their passion. And I think the sad thing about it is that it's been hijacked. Teaching has been hijacked by so much policy and standards and Ofsted and centrally governed and controlled, lots of tick boxing and reporting, and the actual job of teaching children is it's very much like coaching, you know. And actually your creativity, say in your workplace, say in a school, if you're able to be creative, you might find a better way for everyone to do it. You might be leading the way in a new, better way that makes everybody happy. But if you are not able to be in touch with yourself, if you worry that people, when often with creativity, it's because it's got to be different, hasn't it? Otherwise, you know, there's got to be an element of it that is a little bit different. That's what makes it yours. And if you are guided by what everybody else is thinking, you're not going to take the risk, are you? Yeah. Somebody. And that
there is high levels of achievement when you do have an accountability partner. But that's the thing, that goes back to knowing who you can trust with your stuff. You know, knowing that you're going to be encouraged by this person instead of set back. Knowing that you can, you know, trust that person to be that accountability partner for you, rather than the person who's going to just ridicule you or hold you back.
Yeah, and an accountability getting an accountability partner is one way. A coach is great for accountability as well, isn't it? And you only really need one person for accountability. So you could choose to tell one person your plans and not tell anybody else, and then just show them your results if you feel people are not going to be supportive of you. Yeah. Self-doubt and negative self-talk. So
there's this self-limiting beliefs where we grow up in this mentality that we're not good enough, or that we don't deserve success, we don't deserve happiness. So it is our own mind sometimes that gets in the way of us in our future, our own fears. It's like, you know, why bother trying, you know, if I don't succeed? You know, I've only known this life, like, who's to say I can live this life? But it's about getting out of your own way. It's about healing the root of those problems, or the root of where you learned those fears and beliefs, and overcoming them, because we all deserve the best and we all have the capabilities of doing what we want to do. We just have to believe in ourselves.
Yeah. And coaches are great for that as well.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, but there's like techniques that we can do, NLP techniques that can help you overcome those. And actually just you can through introspection as well, actually, you know, but it's so much harder to do that by yourself. It's easier to do it when you've got someone who knows how to guide you in the right way. So coaches are so great at that. Yeah. And being overly agreeable or conforming. So
yeah, that's, you know, we think we have to play by the rules. We think that our voice doesn't matter, and oftentimes then we're doing the wrong thing rather than the right thing because we're just afraid to speak up. So it's important to know that your voice does matter, and if you see something out of sorts, or if you think that it should be done a certain way, throw your voice in, throw your opinion in there, because it could actually benefit a lot more people.
Yeah, and I would say that is like you know, people pleasing. Some people might recognize themselves as being a people pleaser. Some people might think, I'm not a people pleaser, but I am quite agreeable, you know. I do tend to agree, or I'm quite conformist, you know. I follow the rules well, and I look quite similar to the next person, you know. I have very similar views and very similar clothes and, you know, ideas as somebody else about my age, you know. So not saying that people can't be similar, you know, but if are you being yourself, or are you being herded like sheep? You
Yeah.
know, there's so many people, and you know, people can do whatever they want to make themselves happy, you know. But I do think this obsession with correcting one's face with various things is an interesting pandemic that's going on, I think, you know. Yeah, and
It's sad. To be honest, it's sad because people are so insecure that they don't see the beauty they already had, and they think that putting all these fillers in is going to make them more beautiful. But in actual fact, beauty starts from the inside, and it's how you feel about yourself that makes you glow.
yeah, yeah. And I think that largely that is, I think there is some people that are really insecure about the way they look, but I also think some of it is just because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, like my friend was wondering about Botox sometimes. And when I was getting my eyebrows, tinted and waxed, I just asked the person. I asked her like just for information, and she said normally people start in their 20s to look eventually. I'm like, what? People are filling their face in their 20s to stop wrinkles in the what? You know what I mean? They're putting the shit into their face, like, and when they're really young, to prevent wrinkles in those 30s and 40s. I'm sorry, but I think that is ridiculous. And I'm sorry, if it does work, fair enough, but it's ridiculous. You're 20 years of age, your skin is fresh and stuff, but what are you doing putting chemicals into your body? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, well, it's paralyzing the facial muscles to stop your face being expressive, because it's expression. You know, how do you get laughter lines? That's probably why I haven't got a lot of crow's feet, because I spent a lot of my time being sad.
I'm wondering, is the best not the age or tears? Because we've done an awful lot of crying and we look a lot younger than we
I
should
think
do.
that's why I'm more jowly, because I was like this most of the time. I've been smiling, honestly. And I'm sure there's probably science behind that, you know, like people, the percentage of people who suffer from depression who don't have bad crow's feet in their 40s, you know, there'll be a correlation there for sure. That's what I put it down to. Yeah, but that's essentially what it's doing. And I do think people tend to just follow what the
The
majority
trends,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's sad as well. It's like, be authentic, be yourself. Stop following people off the sheep off the cliff. Do your own thing. And I've always been outside the box my whole life. I'm not like anyone else. I'm a unicorn, and I'm proud of that. But like, just use your own. When I was away from him, especially, I kept asking myself the question: does it make me happy, or does it make society happy? Are you doing this to fit in, or are you doing this because you want to do it?
yeah.
Oh, use your own mind, please.
Yeah, and actually, you know, some people might want to enhance some of their features, and that is okay. But it's where it's coming from. Where is the decision coming from? Is it because all your mates did it? Is it because you want to look a certain way on Instagram? Is it because you can't stand what your face looks like without a load of makeup? And you know,
And then the simple cure for that is not cosmetic short surgery. It's getting the help for your internal problems, because it all starts from within. If you can fix your fears, your insecurities, the childhood trauma that has led you to feel so like that you're not attractive. This is where it starts, and everything can be cured with inner work. It really can.
yeah,
We're all beautiful. We just have to start believing that we are.
yeah, 100%. And procrastination. So if you are procrastination, or you're not taking action, so it might not be that you're actually distracting yourself, it's just that you're not keeping the promises to yourself or moving forward, you're just not happy where you are but not doing anything about it, then that could be also a sign that you're thinking too concerned about what other people would think and not in touch with what you really want. Maybe not self-aware. I think so many people just go around on autopilot, unhappy, and not really think about what it is that they're doing.
They're in this bubble, and it's this black and white cloud, and it all comes down. But there's always that one common denominator: that self-worth issue, that feeling of unworthiness, that feeling that we don't belong, that feeling that we're not good enough. And we are in this cloud, and then we're in that self-awareness cloud, or the lack of self-awareness cloud. And we're just conforming, we're just following the same stuff over and over and over again, and we're just following everyone else, and with no direction in life. And that's procrastination as well. It's like, it's not that we don't want to do the thing, it's we're afraid that if we do it, we'll do it wrong, or if we're afraid we'll fail. It all boils down to that inner feelings, and that inner imposter syndrome, that inner self-worth. And it all starts, if we can just heal those wounds, we can actually overcome any of these external problems.
Yeah. And so procrastination often comes from overwhelm, and overwhelm often comes from caring too much what people think, trying to please too many people at once, trying to make something perfect because you care what other people think, and it all,
like everything you said in that list there is all interconnected. All of it is going to the same thing and the same issues.
Yeah, it's all connected, and I honestly didn't make these connections. I'm like, I know that I procrastinate, I know that I have negative self-talk, I know that I fear judgment, I know that I seek validation, I know that I'm a people pleaser, but there isn't some underlying problem here. Well, I thought it was depression, actually depression is just the name we give to the label we give to all those symptoms, basically, not being a risk taker at all.
Yeah, that's the fear of the unknown. It's like, let's stay in this familiar comfort zone because it's safe here. And we get so stuck then, but it's not really a risk, it's just an adventure. It's something new, it's something different. I know it's unfamiliar, and that's what scares us the most, is the unfamiliarity of it.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you keep doing the same thing and you get comfortable in this uncomfortable in this comfortable place where you know how everything works, and you're just doing the same thing and you're going through the motions, you're not really happy, but the longer you're in that place, the scarier it is to break out of it.
Oh my God,
and it's about making small steps, but the more that you are used to breaking out of that, the more you take risks, the less risky it feels, which sounds ridiculous.
That's the thing. When we get too comfortable, we fear change, and we're like, oh, I don't want to change, I want to stay the same, I want to stay the same. But then when you do break out, you love change. And I've done this, I've been to both sides of it. I've been in that bubble where it's like, I don't want to go outside, I don't want to go outside, I don't want to do anything new, I'm too scared. But then I've done the change thing, and I've done the change thing again and again and again, and it's like, I'm never going back in my box, let me out, and you embrace change then, and you get excited for the next thing. So it is just about starting small, one step at a time, and then eventually you're taking giant leaps because you just want to get further away from your comfort zone as you can.
Yeah. So you get comfortable being uncomfortable, essentially, don't you? Yeah. That's where comfortable is. You've burnt the box. There is no box anymore. So comparing yourself to others.
That's a big one.
I think society is very much set up to do that. And even in schools, we compare children, less so now, I think. I think it's less obvious, but the kids are not stupid when, kids are put on certain tables with other children that are also struggling or, and social media, I think, has been a really terrible thing for that, because we forget that it's just a snapshot of the best bits of other people's lives, and then we compare our lives to their lives and question why we haven't got what they've got, and everything feels unfair, or the world's against us, and it can get you into negative thought patterns, can't it?
But that's the thing, we think the grass is greener on the other side, but the grass is greener where you water it, and that's the thing. And Do we really want to be like everybody else? No, not really. I don't anyway. Like, why do you want to look the same and be the same as all the rest of the people? It's so boring. Be different, be weird, be quirky, let your freak like fly, just be you.
Yeah. And I think indecisiveness can lead us into that. So because I'm not in touch with myself, I don't know what it is I want. So I'm just going to do what everyone else seems to want for themselves, because that obviously is what I'm supposed to want. And it's almost like we take on this ideal of what society society has taught us this is happiness, and not actually had been in touch with ourselves as to whether that makes us happy. And sometimes we're chasing this illusion of happiness, of the dream life, or what's going to make us fulfilled, when it's just, and it's not in touch with what we want. It's just what we think that society wants of us.
Yeah, this is like they call it a midlife crisis, but I call it awakening to your truth. You do it the way that people want you to do it. You go to college, you get the job, you climb the ladder, you marry the farmer down the road, you build a house beside your mother, and then you have all the kids and you have everything, and then you get to 40 years of age and you're depressed, and you're like wondering, oh, do you do it the way they told me to do it? I'm depressed. You're depressed because you didn't do it the way you're supposed to do it. Your soul is calling you to follow its passion, not to follow the sheep. So this is it. You're awakening to your truth. So start early. Have your midlife crisis early in your 20s or 30s, and start your life with the way you want to live it.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely, I think, was late. I think I was, well, not late. I was in the normal midlife crisis when I started karate and things changed. But I don't think it was a midlife crisis. It's like, like you say, it's an awakening, isn't it?
Awakening to what you really want in your life, and awakening to your own truth. It's awakening to looking after yourself and following your path.
Yeah.
So it's not a crisis. It's actually a really good thing.
Yeah, and another sign is feeling stuck. So feeling stuck or feeling unfulfilled, then it's probably because you're not in touch with yourself, because if you were in touch with your intuition, you would be noticing the passion and following some kind of passion. And that doesn't mean that your life has to be, I mean, it can be, but it doesn't mean that your passion is going to be your job. But it means that you should have passion in your life. There should be something that lights you up, and that like our coaching session, I always feel so energized after a Tuesday. I look forward to it. It's like it's even though it's work essentially, it's effortless.
But that's it. You don't work a day in your life. If you don't work a day in your life if you enjoy what you do, and that's what we should all be doing. We should be loving our work. We should be passionate about our work, and we shouldn't have to. It isn't really work; it's passion, and that's what coaching is for us. It's passion, and being around each other on a coaching practice group. It's literally we're filling each other with that support and that passion. We're sharing it, and we're all coming out of it high energy because we're all there doing what we love.
Yeah, definitely. And I think and I know for myself actually, that teaching for some people is their passion. And I think the sad thing about it is that it's been hijacked. Teaching has been hijacked by so much policy and standards and Ofsted and centrally governed and controlled, lots of tick boxing and reporting, and the actual job of teaching children is it's very much like coaching. You get that same buzz from it, that same connection from it, but a lot of teaching has a lot of other stuff that dulls your sparkle sat in that job sometimes, that sometimes it can stop you being in touch with why you're doing it, and then you miss the passion. It's not that you're not doing the thing you're passionate about, but you're not connecting with it because you've got all these other things going on. Yeah. Yeah. But passion is important. You should have some passion in your life. So it's likely that if you, oh, I've lost myself here. If you're feeling stuck and unfulfilled, you need to be thinking about how to get some passion back in your life. And we did a mindset live on that last week. So I would recommend watching that. The impact it has on confidence, creativity, and authenticity. So if you worry too much about what other people think, then it erodes your own self-belief because you're no longer self-guided. It can create self-doubt because you might not agree with what the other people think, but you're still being guided by them. So if you're paying too much attention to what other people think or what you think other people think, because often we do that, actually it's our own self-doubt we're projecting on someone else. So it can increase our self-doubt, it erodes our trust in our self-belief, and it can make our fear of failure bigger. So we lose our confidence.
That's a big one. Like, we become so dependent on other people's opinions or follow their rules or do everything for them. We're living their life effectively. That we're forgetting to use our own brain. We're forgetting what our personality is. So we're literally, we're hiding ourselves in this little corner. And we're just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And, it's only when we step away and start to realize that our voice is important, that we start to grow again. So this is so important. Be fully authentically you. Don't let anyone dampen your shine, even if you are different to what they're doing. Shine anyway. Some people aren't going to like it, but who cares what they think? Shine anyway. You're here with your message. You're here with your passion. And the more you shine, it'll let others kind of go, maybe I can shine too. So, your authenticity will hopefully act like this contagion where that other people will actually go, okay, she hasn't gotten killed by a saber-toothed tiger by coming outside the cage. Maybe we can all go outside the cage. You know what I mean?
An inspiration to others. So it impacts on our ability to be creative because it suppresses our expression of ourselves. It limits us from exploring possibilities because we're just exploring the official possibilities. We're only going where we're allowed to look. We're only doing the things we're allowed to do. Conforming stifles creativity because creativity is creating something, isn't it? And that can be art, or it can be dance, or it can be making inventing something. Creativity, or it could just be coming up with a new theory, a new way of doing things, a better way of doing things. And actually your creativity, say in your workplace, say in a school, if you're able to be creative, you might find a better way for everyone to do it. You might be leading the way in a new, better way that makes everybody happy. But if you are not able to be in touch with yourself, if you worry that people, when often with creativity, it's because it's got to be different, hasn't it? Otherwise, there's got to be an element of it that is a little bit different. That's what makes it yours. And if you are guided by what everybody else is thinking, you're not going to take the risk, are you? Yeah. So it ruins our creativity. Creativity is so important for our mental health as well, isn't it? And it, like we said, it affects our authenticity, doesn't it? Because we aren't able to express ourselves with confidence because we're concerned that our true self won't be accepted.
And that's what I remember. Like I was always my weird self in front of my friends. But I up until I say my 30s even, I was so quiet. I was just so quiet. Even my first job when I was 15, I was quiet as a mouse for 3 years. It was like everyone thought I was just this innocent, tiny little girl in the corner, didn't say a word. Then my friends started working there, and all of a sudden, I just went crazy one night. And they were like, "Who the hell is she?" And I was just like, "No, that's my real self." But I was just so afraid to be me in front of others for fear of rejection. And it came down to my childhood wounding. But like, I was just, I look back on my whole life, I was the kind of person who only spoke when I was spoken to. You know what I mean? I'd never start a conversation. And that was always a fear of rejection. Now I'm just going to be loud, I'm going to be weird, I'm going to be me. And if you don't accept me, that's fine. I don't really care. But like, I'm not afraid of being rejected anymore because I'm accepting myself. But it still boils down to that unworthiness wound. We're afraid to be rejected. We're afraid to fail. We are afraid of what other people think.
Yeah. And so at the root of it all is that it's that we are, it's the fear of using your voice, fear of being seen, and they're all branches of the same tree, all of these, they're all kind of, it's that unworthiness. It's like you feel unworthy. You don't feel, you're fearful of being seen. You fear rejection. What else is there? There's all those core wounds. In fact, we've done Mindset Lives actually on all the main ones as well. So if you feel like, I think actually I fear rejection and that's why I'm really conformist, I would recommend having a look at one of those, because we've unpacked how to get in, get down into our belief there and where it's come from, and explore where it's come from. It often comes from our young life when we're little, isn't it?
It is. It's the wounded inner child, and that's where most of our unworthiness does stem from. It can come from past lives as well, but that fear of rejection, that fear of abandonment, it all comes back to whatever happened in our childhood. And like, you don't have to have been physically abandoned as a child. There could be certain dynamics as a child where you had strict parents that weren't as affectionate as you would have liked, or there was maybe substance abuse in the family, there was aggression in the family, or maybe your parent did leave, or even if a parent passed away. Any of these kind of things can lead to this fear of rejection and abandonment, that lack of self-worth. So that carries on with us as we grow up and as we become adults. That wounded inner child is still within us. So it's so important to look within and nurture our inner child, because in validating our inner child, we've actually stopped seeking for the validation outside ourselves. And that's how we start to love ourselves, by loving our inner child, reparenting our inner child. This is how we overcome our fear of rejection.
Yeah.